Hi everybody, this is Professor Brennan. I'm going to talk to you about outlining, and I'm going to go straight to the PowerPoint and basically I'm going to go over how to approach your preparation outline. I've given you some samples as well. Those samples are called Sample APA Preparation Outline, Sample MLA Preparation Outline. You can find them online on Canvas. Those are samples that you can use as templates. If you don't know what a template is, it's basically a structure. It's structured exactly the way that will help you create a preparation outline. It's formatted and structured the way I would like the preparation outline to be. However, I am willing to have you use bullet points as well, as long as there's a cascading, um, as long as the ideas cascade, meaning there's a larger ideas that turn into smaller ideas and smaller ideas. So it's all Roman numeral. I would prefer you do that, but if that's impossible for you, I'm okay with that as long as the ideas cascade. Okay, let's get right to, I'm going to pull up that PowerPoint and let's get to how to create your own preparation outline. I know you've all worked on this for your previous assignment, but for your next assignment, we'll keep talking about this. It'll get clearer. Oftentimes this is a hang up for students, and I don't want you to get hung up on this and worry about this. But I also want to say this. It is important that you have an outline. You have to know where you're going. Public speaking is a formal way of speaking. It's not informal. No one gets up there and just starts talking. Public speaking is a prepared speech. Okay? The speaking is just like, if any of you have done theater before, you know what I'm talking about. Theater is you have to do a lot of preparation before you ever hit that stage in front of an audience. I want you to think of public speaking the same way. There's a whole bunch of preparation you do before you ever get up there and you actually deliver your speech. That's like the icing on the cake. But you got to spend more time making the cake. Okay? Let's get to it. Okay, so there we are. I'm going to start from the beginning. You see me over there? Okay, cool. So outlining. So we talked about brainstorming, right? Grabbing your own ideas, finding out what your brainstorming activity is going to be best for you. I love clustering. That's mostly what I teach. It seems to work the best for students in terms of an activity where you get down and you're doing writing. Actually having the pen to paper rather than trying to brainstorm on a computer is better. It activates your creativity within yourself, and it makes you actually be more concrete, I think, in your ideas when you are actually, instead of just thoughts whirling around in your head, that you actually put pen to paper. So I want to highly suggest that. Okay. So remember, when you do this, once you have your brainstorm and you're trying to put your ideas in some kind of order, it's a draft. Okay, they don't have to be perfect, but you just want to get to it. You want to throw your ideas in some kind of order. If you want to lay out, if it helps you to put the Roman numerals and do it in that, fine. If it doesn't help you, don't worry about that. But lay it out in some order, like having your one main point and then all these details underneath, and then having your second main point and all the details. Start somewhere. Okay, just start somewhere. That's what I do. Let's go back to that. I do that when I start something. I never go right into an outline format. I'll tell you that about me. I don't even think, I'm not very linear in my thinking. I'm more conceptual in my thinking. I know that about myself. So I go and approach this in the way that's comfortable for me in order to get to the speech. So I want to encourage you to find what's going to work for you in order to get to that speech. What I don't want anyone to do is to read your speech from an essay. Now, if it helps you to sit down and write your speech word for word out the first time and then pull that into an outline format, that's cool. But you must have an outline format. That's not optional nor negotiable. If you read, and I'll keep saying this over and over again, if you give your speech from from what's an essay, like a written essay like you write for English class, then you won't even look at us. You will read word for word. That's what happens. If you were to pick up a book right now, you wouldn't paraphrase to us. You would read word for word. So you don't want that. That's why we use outlines, so we can have eye contact, can be conversational, and so it can be extemporaneous speaking. Okay. Good on time. All right, here we go. So I say begin in the middle. Come up, don't worry about your introduction. Start with your 3 main points and develop from there. Create from there, from the 3 main points. Pull in supporting ideas, right? Think about what's your topic, how are you going to go about describing your topic. Hopefully you pulled that from your brainstorming activity, and then get your supporting materials. How are you going to describe it? What examples are you going to give? Are you going to tell any stories about it? Are you going to show any, you're going to show a video? We haven't even talked about presentation aids, but let's just say you wanted to include a video with that, or you want to use testimony, someone's life experience with that. Those are all supporting materials. How are you going to get to describing those main points? Create full sentences. Your main point should have full sentences, okay? Your supporting ideas should also have full sentences. Think of that. A is your main idea, your main point, right? And then 1 and 2, those are supporting ideas, also full sentences. Now, when you get to little a and little b, they might be short. You could have short phrases. Each main point minimally should have 3 supporting points for each main idea. This just helps balance things out and helps you develop. Your work is to learn how to develop your speech. You do this every day. I mean, in terms of talking to people, how you give explanation or you give extended examples, you do this naturally. I'm just going to have you put it into and make it into a speech. Some of you may be people that are more quiet, don't talk a lot, but I bet there's at least one person in your life that you talk to the most and you feel comfortable talking to. Even though you may qualify yourself as a quiet person, there's someone that you tell everything to. There usually is at least one person in everyone's life that we tell everything to. Could be your parent or your brother or sister or your spouse. Okay. Once you have completed those main points, then you turn to your supporting points. Okay? Can you break down your supporting points further? That's how you create this thing called a sub-supporting points. So if you go back to the lecture I did in an organization, I showed you there was like main points, supporting points, sub-supporting points, sub-supporting points, and you could get really deep into it. That's all stuff of how you break it down. Actually, the more you break it down, the more depth you're going to have in your speech and the more interesting it is. This is the way these speeches and classes work. The more details, the more depth you have, the more engaging it is for us. Because that's what we want. If you go back to thinking about when you were a child and you were told stories too, it wasn't the stories like, right? Cinderella met her man and they rode off on a horse together, for example, right? I'm just giving you like the bottom line story of that, but I'm not telling you all the details. Like, and I can't even remember with Cinderella, whether she have the little fairies, I think, like the fairy godmothers came and those are the details. Those are the fun details. That's the stuff that we love. It's just like little supporting characters in the story. That's what you can think of it. Your supporting points are the supporting characters. It's the stuff that makes a story really interesting. It isn't just the main guys, Cinderella and the prince and the evil queen. It's those smaller things that make the story really interesting. In this case, can make your speech interesting. I just said that. Okay. I gave you this example of the sunflower. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. This is for you to look over it. I don't need to go over all these things, but it shows you how to use Roman numerals, right? So if this was looking at this, the sunflower is a weed and a flower, a source of protein and a symbol for happiness. So I've just told you what main points in the statement here that I'm going to that I'm going to cover in this speech about the sunflower. That it is a weed into flower. So I'm going to talk about how it's a weed into flower. Then I'll talk about it as a source of protein. Those that eat sunflower seeds, right? Seeds are protein. And how it's a symbol for happiness. So I kind of gave it to you right here. Then I gave you a personal story, of which actually I think I made this up, but it's a nice little story. I made it up. And then I gave you reasons why this is a protein. And then I talked about, and I think I made this up too, according to the meaning of flowers, I made that up. But meaning that's a book, right? Or maybe it's a website actually. And I said all that. So I let you know I was pulling it from that website, and that's what these mean. This is not hard. You can totally do this. But again, I'm showing you all this to give you an idea. See how it cascades this way? That's what I mean by cascading. It should all fall in with these grander ideas, large ideas, and small ideas. Okay. If you want to do bullet points, you can. You just need to make sure that you indent. Indenting tells me that it's cascading. I think we're done. Okay. So we're done with this. Really short lecture. You can do this. It takes practice to do outlining. It takes practice. You're not going to boom, I got the outlining. Some of you are going to be naturally good at it. If you just think that way in a linear way, it's going to be easy for you. And others, it's going to be a struggle. That's why I create that template that you guys can use and punch in your own stuff in there. Last thing I'm going to say about the outline is your preparation outline generally represents the number of pages, generally represent the number of minutes your speech is. So this speech, if your outline was 4 to 5 pages long, you should make the speech time when you give your speech. Now, if your outline's only 3 pages, you probably will not make the speech time. You won't have your speech long enough. I will be telling you that you need to develop your speech further. So there's that. I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.